Welcome to Adrienne Ross Squared, squaring off from A to Z. I want to talk to you about something that's been on my mind. I've thought about this in the past. I've written about it in the past. In fact, I wrote about it a few years ago in my column in the newspaper, and I was blown away by the response. I actually had a letter mailed to my house, in addition to emails I received and comments that were in the comment section of the online version of my column. It has to do with dates. And I don't mean dates when you go out with someone and you go to a restaurant and eat, but it was the holiday time. And so it was about dates on the calendar and how those things affect people. Because one of the things I've noticed is that people will often find themselves depressed. They will isolate themselves. They will totally go into a period of despondency around certain dates, around the holidays. I wrote that column. It was either Thanksgiving or Christmas, but we were in the holiday season. And so I addressed it, and people were moved by it. And with Father's Day coming up, this is a good time to talk about it again. It should apply across the board, whether it's a holiday or not. But because it's Father's Day, it's a good time. I just want to say to every person who has experienced loss, maybe you are someone who lost your father, someone who feels maybe you lost your father recently, or maybe like me, you lost your father when you were in your early 20s. My father was 46 years old when he passed away. So I was in my early 20s at the time. I don't know where you are with that, but maybe you have father pain, losing a father, or maybe your father wasn't in your life and you struggle with it. I'm not sure what the case may be, but I have found that people attach themselves to a calendar date. And on that date, they crash. And when I wrote my column, I wanted to tell people that it is okay not to go into depression around the holidays because that's the time that you spent with your family, or this is that loved one's birthday and you feel like you're supposed to be solemn in a depressed kind of way on that date. Now, that sounds like an odd thing to say, but like I said, the response was incredible. I wrote and I said, your loved one would want you to have a good day. Your loved one would want you to have a good Thanksgiving or a good Christmas. Your loved one would not want you every time that person's birthday rolls around for you to retreat, for you to spend the day crying, for you to be mourning. Your loved one would say, I give you permission to be happy. You don't owe it to me to make yourself so sick, if you will, with the pain. You're not abandoning your loved one if you say, I'm going to have a good day. I don't feel obligated to cry all day on Father's Day. Now, if you feel to cry, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're dealing with the pain of the loss of a loved one, there's nothing wrong with that. But what I was talking about was this feeling that people have, like there's a sense of loyalty somehow to be unhappy because it's that day. One of the things that's always struck me is that if I have someone I love, and I've lost my dad, if I have someone I love and the birthday comes. My dad's birthday is November 7th. I have no obligation to be any more sad on November 7th than I had on November 6th or November 5th or November 4th, or I will have on November 8th. But we get enslaved to the calendar, to the dates, to the anniversaries, and then on that day it's almost as if we have them less than we had them before, when in fact we didn't have them before and we have mourned. And it's okay not to repeat that every time that date rolls around. And people responded and they felt a sense of freedom because I tapped into something. People were really, I guess, coming to the conclusion that they had somehow embraced the mindset that they would be unfaithful, to have a good day, to smile, to not be depressed on that day. And they realized that that's just not true. And that on that day, on that Christmas, on that Father's Day, whatever it is, it's not like they have more reason to be sad because they didn't have that person the day before, right? And so I just been thinking about this, and I want to say to you, whatever your relationship is or was with your father, you can have a good day on Father's Day. You can think about your loved one, you can talk about your loved one, but your loved one would not want you to enter into this depression because the calendar flipped over and it's that particular day. It's the last thing your loved one would want for you. But I think for some, I heard from, they realized, the light bulb came on and they realized that they were really living in that place where it was like, okay, this is the calendar day. So today is the day I'm sad, because if I'm not, then I'm somehow failing my loved one. I'm somehow betraying my loved one. And that's just not the way to live. It's wrong mindset to have. And again, if you're sad, be sad. But it's sort of like the scriptures where the scriptures say, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, right? I'm not going to camp out here. I don't have to pitch my tent here, and I don't have to stay here, and I have to come back here every day or every year at this time and deal with that. I can love my loved one and still be okay. I can still be okay. I don't owe it to them not to be okay just because the calendar tells me this is the day to not be okay. So that's all that I wanted to share with you. It's, like I said, been on my mind because I know it's a real thing for people. I see it all the time. And for some, it's year after year after year of posting things on social media on that particular day. And that's fine if you want to do that. I mean, my goodness, for sure. You know, Father's Day, there are times when I post a picture of my dad in his uniform, military uniform, army uniform, and things like that. But there are some people who are so tuned in to a date that they're going to relive it in a really dark way every time the calendar says, okay, now it's time. And I'm here to say you don't have to do that. You don't owe that to your loved one, and your loved one wouldn't want that for you. Give yourself permission to be okay. That's really all I wanted to say. And again, I wrote this column and the response really shook me to the point where people people wrote about it, but someone actually put something in an envelope and mailed it to me. And they felt like there was a breakthrough. And I heard the same for others. So if you are one of those people who find yourself in those cycles, it's okay. You don't have to stay in that cycle. And I pray that God will help you not to. And that on Father's Day, if you don't have your dad, or if you're a father and you don't have a good relationship with your children, or you've lost a child, I just pray that you're able to have peace and find joy and find strength and be around others who love you and whom you love as well. I wish you the best. And that's just me sharing from my heart. I hope it helps somebody just as it helped others those years ago when I wrote it in the column. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. And I will catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundantly.